Hello, we are going to talk about a mechanical failure case that occurred in the structure of a building situated in Katowice, Poland. Katowice International Fair was the international trade fair in Katowice, and one of the largest in Poland. There are a few dozen of events organized each year, with the participation of 4,500 people. On Saturday, 28th of January of the year 2006, during the trade fair of carrier Pigeons, a roof of the largest of MKT collapsed on participants.
The dimensions of the Katowice building were 97 per 102 meters. Practically, the whole roof collapsed on participants of exhibition from height of 11 meters. One-third of the roof, its central part, fell down in the center of the fair hall, causing most injuries and huge blast wave. Rest of the roof cracked up and descended by the walls. Light steel construction with tin wares external covering on which 70 centimeters layer of ice and snow was gathered, rapidly collapsed, within several seconds tumbling down on people and animals. 300 of tons of damaged steel construction of the roof, with remaining on most of its part iced snow, constituted a weight of several thousand of tons, which crushed few hundred of people. Damaged roof construction which on the ground appears as a pile, formed of joists, great, sharp, twisted, cracked, and rooted plain panels. Pipes of different thickness, wires, foam, polystyrene, etc., mixed together with tons of snow and ice pieces. A scrap rubble yard was formed between remaining standing, although twisted and curved, steel bearing pillars and leaning inside high metal walls. In this image, we can see the Tarde Hall before the catastrophe. After the collapse, the whole roof fell down.
The disaster occurred due to the superposition of some different factors: the incidence of similar problems, the underestimation of winter environmental conditions, the failure of the structure of the building, and the instability of the foundations. During the winter of 2002, the roof of the Tarde Hall strained and cracked dangerously under pressure of 3-meter snow layer. After that accident, the roof of the building was supposed to be decomposed and properly reinforced. Nevertheless, the reconstruction couldn't be able to avoid the disaster in 2006. Winter environmental conditions might not be omitted when talking about catastrophes. The winter of the year 2006 was one of the most severe during last years. For several weeks, the temperature was very low, decreasing even below -20 degrees. During these days, the snow was accumulated on the surface of the roof, reaching a final weight of 3,000 tons. The Katowice Fair building was designed with many constructional and strange errors leading to its failure. The elements of the structure were created in a series system, which collapses when only one of the elements reaches load-bearing capacity. So in the series system, the most stressed element in the system decides the global safety. Katowice was affected by underground coal mining that made the iron unstable and probably not fit for construction. An analysis was done to find whether construction site defects were a cause of the failure. The results indicated that the deformation in the subsoil in that area was not significant enough as compared to the surrounding areas, whereby it can be concluded that the cause of the collapse was not mining related.
And who was guilty? 3 people were arrested and brought to the Katowice district prosecutor's office: the board chairman, the deputy chairman, and the company's technical manager. They were interviewed and charged with criminal negligence, and their appeal against arrest was rejected by the district court. The prosecutors alleged that the accused were responsible for failing to remove heavy snow and ice from the building's roof, and also that in the past the roof had gotten damaged, and yet they carried out only emergency repairs and did not report the damage to a building inspector as required by police law. Also, 3 architects were arrested. 2 of them were charged with willfully causing a building catastrophe, and by causing the death of 65 people. They made several errors and introduced several amendments to the project that were not agreed upon. Both were aware of the fact that in January 2002 the roof buckled under the weight of the snow. Yet they did not take any steps to remedy the situation and perhaps prevent the tragedy. The third one was charged with involuntarily causing a building catastrophe. He was charged with approving the project despite its errors and deficiencies. The Court of Appeal in Katowice granted bail to the 3 top bosses of the company.
Possible corrective actions. Strength of the structure was insufficient. Battens were not strong enough and the framing elements were not properly connected to the columns to distribute the load. Above all, if there would have been a freedom of translation in the bearings of the main girders, then it would have reduced the amount of horizontal reaction produced in the column and the collapse could have been avoided. As a result of the catastrophe, in March 2007, Polish building law was amended. Large buildings must now undergo a technical survey twice every year to make sure that they are safe and structurally sound.